Now, I want to give you an example of how to help people enjoy the graphs of what you're talking about. This graph is really fascinating to me. I really liked it. Now, see the blue line? It goes up, down, up again. That blue line is the amount of debt to GDP or to the size of the economy of a country. And in this case, it's the G7 countries, the biggest countries in the world, mainly the US. And what we can see is that after World War II, that line was at about 120. That means that there was 120% debt to GDP ratio. But after the war finished and we had a big boom in the West, they were able to pay down all that debt until it was only about 35%. Fantastically low. And that got us to our lowest point in the graph. But what's interesting is what's happened over the years. What's happened over the years is that steadily rose and rose and rose until what you can see is a massive run-up. So we had a crisis, a financial crisis, 2008, 2009. And in this case, the governments, like the US government, ended up taking on a huge amount of debt. And when they took on that huge amount of debt, they brought their debt to GDP up now, back up to where it was after they spent huge amounts of money for World War II, which was a huge amount of money. But now we've spent it all just like that. What's the situation? It's scary and it's terrible, the amount of debt. But what's interesting about this chart is not that curve. It's this curve. This yellow dotted line is the emerging markets. The emerging markets across the world, guess what? They don't have much debt. So when you think about investing money and where is risk high and where is risk low, this one concept tells us that you should be in where? Should you be in the West or should you be in emerging markets? Where should you put your money based upon what you see here? Emerging markets. Okay, good. Now that's true data and that's a true chart. And it's all true, what I just did. But it was a demonstration of how to walk your audience through a chart. You don't want to just present something and make them figure it out. I walked you through it. In fact, I could take off some of the other lines.